Hey guys, this is Joe B1618. Alright. Looking at this one line of the bird, uh, and you can see from this that there's a couple moves here, bishop b4 and f8 e7, but want to just go through the first few moves and then see if bishop b4 is played here, then we got a3 with advantage. Because look, say they take, and they take here, and they try to do this one, we got this. See, and 3g5. Say they want to try to actually defend their pawn, then Stockfish reckons is a better game for us, you know, for reasons like some crazy reasons, but you know, for what it gives. Now they have it changing a little bit, but even a pawn down, I would play white here, and I'll tell you why. Because obviously our king's going to be a lot safer, but secondly, their knight is going to be out here until they even move it with a tempo on our bishop. But if they never move it, then our knight's staying there. We have the bishop pair, so I don't care what the board looks like. Some people say I like knights in this position. I always like bishops. I don't give a penny, man. I always like the bishops. I always like the two bishops better. I don't care if there's pawns in the center of the board looking like a dual game of reverse checkers. I always like the bishops. So this is just like, they say an advantage for black, but you know, prove it. I don't really care to like get this proven one way or the other. I think that bishop g1 was a mistake, yeah. So they have to go here, and then we have this, and this is better for white, you know. You don't always have to step back, and to this post is good, and they don't even have black defending the pawn, but a human would defend the pawn in some way. They can't. So that knight move actually isn't even the best knight move, and then the knight staying here, we got the bishop pair. So I wanted to let you know about that just right off the bat, because that's a position we're not going to be covering. Now to have that moved aside from this is the way to go. And now to celebrate the rest of what this video is really supposed to be about, I'll start the actual video, which is going to be good and everything like that. So this is a response called a response to a book called Dangerous Weapons, and I'm really stupid. Look at these production values. It's my dangerous weapon, yo. It's my baseball bat, yo. Choke up, Johnny. Oh, step out of the car, officer. Alright. But, I want to actually literally bring this to light before, we start coasting into more of the variations around this. Is, in all seriousness, this book called Dangerous Weapons recommends this move here. And from that move, they say that that's throwing a curveball, like like to the bird player, like, oh, this is how you play against the geometry of the bird. And I admit that in its principle that's true, yet the way that it's exacted isn't really what I think is true, and I'll elucidate that after. Um, this video hopefully will show you guys that the dangerous weapons things it's not worth it to take it seriously. But if you want to study it, do it, because that book is supposed to propose solutions against oddball or unorthodox openings. So look at this. They say that this is good, but to go through the lines, and I already went through that line a little bit. I'm not going to go through it again. What the book is actually trying to do is they're trying to play d5 here, and then they want white to push their pawn forward and post their knight on f5. And that's the whole thing behind why they say this is how to defeat the oddball. Excuse me for a second. So I typed up this Word document for all my studies and everything, and I'm trying to show this 2d5 to be an advantage to white. So this is what the book recommends, and then I go on to a whole nother thing after that, and see, their dangerous weapons book says this is going to be played this push, but then I say just take, and then queen takes because they can't play a knight f6, and then knight f3 before knight c3, and this gambit can yield an advantage. So, I would really, really recommend the white side of this gambit, because they're trying to play weird, and then we actually end up gambiting a pawn. And check this out. So they take, and then we play d4 here, and they don't have queen e6. They have queen d6. That's pretty much what everyone's going to play. And at that point, then we have the move c4, and I mean, you can imagine a few different moves here, but that's one variation. So now we're at c4, and just to watch the honest cascade of moves here for a second. Like, we got 0.20 advantage right now. Once white castles, they're going to have rook scope from the F vertical. Black's king could be a little questionable, but if they're even reading that book, then they are a good player, because I've had this I guess a master before, and I got outplayed, but he said after I read that one knight h6, I always play the bird, so of course it was against the bird, was a good choice for black. So that's why I've done this research and studied so much and everything. And it's not really good for black. Like, he didn't say that. He just said this is what he plays every time, and it's good. The principle, it's not the best response. I know what that is, because I've been playing the bird since 2006. Every time it's white, so now it's 2018, so I've been playing the bird for a dozen years, so I know precisely what is occurring in all these situations. I played in it when I play in tournaments. I usually win all my games with white, but against with black I had some problems. But I lost one game with white just because I forgot my prep. But I studied my prep here again, so take that. Now, you see, say they play G6 and we play C5. Say they play, well, if they play C5 right here, it's just, it doesn't seem that good for them. C5, then we could play here, and we're going against that. And if they play C6 right here, then we can actually play here because we're going for the center too. All right, so that's one line when they accept the gambit, and understand it's not that good either, and understand that I didn't go in the thing against the book. So I want to tell you this is one of the birds for the people who really, really care. This is one of the birds that on move 2 we don't play knight f3. We play something else. Usually it is e4. So this isn't the end of the video yet. It's not the end of the video, but it's something else, and there's many different ways of doing this here, and I got my coffee just because I want to try to add this to one of the longer videos section, but here we go. I don't understand certain things, that this can be a gambit here, Here we go. D3 on knight C6, knight F3. But instead of that, bishop C5, we can take here because now the E4 pawn's defended is an important thing. So we're the D3. And watch this gambit. This one's really, really important. Look at this. Queen takes H2. Rook G2. Queen H1. Queen E2. Alright, and this position, if you actually put it on the board in front of yourself, then you'll realize that that was really, really good. And instead of bishop takes, they could play D6 here. Well, then we go to C3, and F8 C5. Say they get this, and say they play D5 here, then F8 C F8 C5. F takes D5, and then E takes D5 is the move here. You'll see white has a great game. Alright. So that's in the Dangerous Weapons book. And trying to shed some light on it, you know what I mean? And those who really care, this is what I recommend against it. And it's not the Dangerous Weapons but I doubled back for a second just to say it's using that principle. I play e4 here. I don't know. I've seen one other person who actually does play e4 when I play against this principle. But the principle that they're playing with is something different. Anyways, I'm sure they'll be playing a little bit differently, but e4 is really good here, and then that's a whole nother game, which I could do in part 2 of all of this, but maybe I won't even make a part 2. I could see what is what from here, and there's a lot of stipulations upon this, but the money move for white is really e4, and that's what I play, because in the event they're going for some positional thing, eventually choosing what diagonal to put this bishop on is important, and this diagonal here actually on principle is weak, but the principle that I play against is the same one in that book, but I chop up the move order because that's why I don't play as white. Knight f3 on move 1. There's a lot of reasons for that, but this is them having e4 again, so that was a good structural move by me. Whenever the bird is played, the f5 square, in regards to power level, is weaker generally, so that's why I play e4. And then the knight is trying to come to f5 when other people don't do that in the variation that I play. So say they just do something like this, then eventually, there's a lot of reasons why we wait to put the bishop here or the knight here, and one of the other things that must be said is, are you going to play from the wings, or are you going to play e6, and from what I've seen from this is that you just adapt to what they do and play naturally, and you'll end up with a great position. Yet they have d5 here, and I like that move too. And the reason is because if they go for a stone wall like this, eventually we could trade off our bishops like that. And the strategic sense, and that's good. Thank you for watching. Joe B1618. Peace.